Yes, thank you, Pastor Jerome, Denise, and the rest of the leadership. Thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure and an encouragement to speak on marriage. As Pastor Jerome said, 1 out of 2 marriages don't make it. And unfortunately, it's not just for people who are unchurched, but even Christians. There's no difference in the statistics. So, you know what, it's really encouraging that you could be somewhere else, but, you know, just the fun and, you know, we're all having a great time here. It's really an encouragement. I hope not just for you, but also to, you know, you look around and you see all the different things that are happening around us. Sometimes you're wondering, is there any hope for our nation? Is there any hope? You know, there are good things that are happening in this nation, don't get me wrong, but there's still a lot that needs to be done. And sometimes we're wondering, is there any hope? But as you look at this room and, you know, and the families that most of you who have children represent, it brings a lot of hope that the investment that you put in your marriage now is not just going to be, it's not just going to affect your family, but it's going to affect the church, it's going to affect your communities, your workplaces, and your families. And we're not talking about just one generation, but we're talking about from generation to generation to generation. And most of us are first generation Christians. And you know, Pastor Jerome said, you saw my apo, and you know, I'm excited that that years from now, my grandchild will have his own grandchildren, and I'm not going to be around anymore when his grandchildren walk this earth. But the investment that we put in our marriage and the encouragement that our children saw or still see from our marriage is not just affecting us, them, but the generations beyond our lifetime. And so I just, sometimes, you know, we're in the middle of parang dami nating issues, we're trying to resolve so many things in our marriages, daming challenges. Sometimes we're swamped and we're overwhelmed by that. But you know what, don't give up. And continue to work on your marriage. I can't remember how many couples retreats that we've been. And there's always how many couples or workshops or marriage workshops that we've been. And there's always something new. And even if just being around couples, it's already a big encouragement that, hey, you know what? They have their own problems too, but they're continuing on. And so it's good that you're around a community like this. Na parang hindi, you know, parang hindi isipin na kami lang yata yung dumadaan doon. We all have issues in our marriages. And the great thing is, God is very much part of that marriage. He is part of our covenant, and He is more than able to make it work for us, despite our you know, humanity and our limitations as humans. And so I just wanna.
Okay, my wife will say something before we go on. You know,
Okay, so good evening po. It's so good to see all of you tonight. And when I look across the room, all ages are represented. There are young couples. There are, sabi nga namin ni Balo, seasoned couples. Diba? So, it's so good to be here. Alam niyo po, it's good for us to stop, at least si Hallmark, hindi man si General Valentine, si Father Valentine. At least si Hallmark made it a point to have a holiday that makes us stop at least once a year to remember, to celebrate. Pero I hope that as Christians, we will not just celebrate our marriages every Valentine's Day. Nowadays, marriage is not taken seriously anymore. In fact, meron kami mga, there are this, I'm gonna show you some names. First, ito. Sabi niya, Kagabi, sinabihan ko asawa ko na hindi masarap ang luto. Pero ngayon masarap.
You know, I hope that we will learn to compliment our spouse.
Mabilis naman pala mabuto mag-iso si
Magaling naman pala. Na-adjust naman pala yung lasa. Okay.
So,
And then hopefully, you know, you're gonna have a stress-free life like this guy. Being married isn't stressful at all. That's Jim. That's Jim, 31 years old. So I hope that we will look like Jim. For those of you who have been married for 5, 10 years, I hope you will continue to look like Jim.
lagi tayong fresh, lalo na tayo, we know how to keep our marriages fresh, right?
Alright, you know the title of our evening, or the topic is Heart is All That Matters. And there's this iconic picture or image about Valentine's, which is the heart, and then also Cupid, okay, and with this arrow, with this bow, and then trying to and hitting that heart with an arrow, and that's, you know, and again I must admit that when we've been married now for 34, going 35 years this year, and you know, and to be honest, when we started out, I had no clue whatsoever what I was getting myself into. All I knew was I wanted to marry her, and some of you heard our story when during Companionship, but that's all we knew. We were young. She was 19, I was 21, and so we didn't know any better. And then parang kaming, you know, parang the picture of, okay, love is, how do I, you know, I felt like Cupid trying to hit that heart. And, you know, I keep missing. Ano ba talaga yung, what is it really that you want to, how do you really love your wife? And what are the things that you really want to hit in terms of, hindi yung kanina picture, no? What do you really, if you sum it up, sometimes we're oblivious of, okay, saan nga ba ako magsisimula, ano nga ba yung kailangan? Because there's so many needs, but we want to hit the heart and tonight. And if we hit this, kahit papano, we're doing good. And so my wife and I will alternate. She's gonna share things that the husband needs. All right, the core concerns of a husband, and then I'm gonna share core concerns of a wife. And hopefully, as we will come out from this place tonight, knowing na, okay, sige, kaya ko yun. Yung pala yun. And there's so many other things that you can give to your wife. Aside from this, you can give them diamonds, or you can give them multiple cars, or whatever, or motorcycle. But if we do this, I think we're doing good. And we don't have to fall in that statistics. We can make it, and hopefully we'll have a marriage that is worth passing to our children. So, okay, so we're gonna have 25 things that I want to share, and then Jenny will have 25 things. Okay, in the next 5 hours that we have here. All right. Okay, so let's start.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to talk to the women. How do we really touch the heart of our husbands? The first concern that we have.
Sorry. Okay, usually ginagawa natin to. So we'll do this. Can we ask you to sit side by side with your spouse? Okay, para hindi na tayo sikuhan. Alright, so you can move away from your table, that's fine, we have plenty of space. But, you know, I think it's just good to be able to
focus on one another.
parang ito lang, parang mini couple sitting lang tayo. We'll make this quick, but hopefully you'll, Alright, good. Alright, so I'm sorry to start. Go ahead.
Okay. So, sit side by side, ha? Okay, so the first need of our husbands, ladies, is admiration. How many of you remember the story of Snow White? Snow White, di ba? Yung evil, yung stepmom niya has a mirror. Every time the stepmom would go to this mirror and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Di ba? Gusto niya malaman kung sino. Kasi gusto niya malaman na siya pa rin. Of course, you know the story of Snow White. But in a husband's life, para siyang meron din siyang mirror. There are two main mirrors in a man's life. Usually, this is where he draws his identity, his meaning. Dito niya dinodraw yung parang gasoline niya for life. The two mirrors in his life is, the first one is work, and the second is his wife, which is us. But you have to remember, ladies, work will be work. After a while, work will be just work. Diba? There will come a time in a man's life na parang natrabaho lang siya kasi kailangan kumita. After establishing his career, it's not something, probably, there will come a time na it's not something that he really looks forward to or nagpablato na, but he has to still go to work. The other mirror in his life that will remain constant, that he would always look to for his meaning, will be us, his wife. So that's why we have to remember that the way we look at our husbands, the way we respond to him, even the way we smile at him, important yun eh. That communicates to him that you're the best and I'm proud to be your wife. Tayo dapat yung number one fan ng asawa natin. Wives, we have to remember that we attract whatever we respect. Sabi nga sa Ephesians 5:22, wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. When you think about it, God did not specifically say, oh, wives, love your husbands. Sabi ni Lord, wives, submit to your husbands. That means, it doesn't mean he doesn't need love. Pero alam ni Lord, inside of a man, there's a deeper need than love. And for them, as far as they're concerned, their currency of love is respect. We show that we love them the more we respect them. There's a Swedish proverb that says, love me when I least deserve it, because that's when I really need it. Tayo kasi mga wives, di ba, sometimes we feel very emotional tayo eh. Sometimes we think we will give love when they deserve it. But our husbands, their currency of love is respect. No, he needs to know that we think they are important and they're valued. Without it, our husbands will feel a deep sense of loss inside. Diba, how many of you, I have known men who have lost jobs, na parang in the midst of their, in the midlife crisis sila, they lost jobs. But they were able to survive. But men who lost the respect of their wives, for example, I'm sure you have, it's not new anymore nowadays, although it's sad. Nowadays, it's not just the men who fall into an adulterous relationships. You've heard that women do that too. And yung mga husbands, and we have counseled husbands whose wives have fallen into an adulterous relationships, the way they were crushed, it's so, kawawa. Parang it's hard for them to recover. It's because it's the respect. So, I want us to, women, I just want us to remember whatever we focus on are the thoughts that will continue to grow in our minds. Respect is an attitude. It's an attitude of the heart that whether we like it or not, will show in our actions. When we look at your husbands, when you look at your husbands, what do you see? Sometimes, do you see a caring and compassionate man? Diba? Minsan, ano naman nakikita ko, diba? Do you see that he's caring or compassionate? O ang lagi yung nakikita, messy niya, yung medyas niya, lagi, sabi ko naman, lapit na nga nung lalagyan ng ano, hindi ba niya sinushoot? Is that what you always remember? Or do you always see a man who's always late? Or do you see a man who always takes time to be with his kids? Kasi lahat naman tayo broken. Lahat naman tayo are imperfect. But it's important that we remember to focus on the good things because whatever you feed will grow. So if you remember only the bad things, I think I told you a story about a woman who was complaining about the wife. I was talking to her, who was complaining about her husband, and I kept asking her, okay, whose husband is this? Mine. O sinong pinangasawa niya? Sinong nagpakasal sa kanya? Ako. Okay, so kanino rin siya asawa sa akin? Paano ko siya naging asawa? Pinakasalan ko siya. Ikaw wala pumili sa kanya eh. Diba? So parang, because you're the one who chose, you have to be committed. So that's the first thing that they need. They need to be admired. They need to be respected. Tayo dapat ang unang-unang fan nila. So and then I'll talk about more the 6 months.
You know, last Sunday, we were in Baguio and they asked me to preach, so I preached. And as soon as I sat down, they had 2 services. And they meet in a theater like your morning service. And parang sabi ko, parang wala akong makita talaga doon sa nag-preach ako. Parang wala akong makita kasi dilim. Because how did I do? And you know, I was just it's so important for me to hear from my wife, you did well. Ang galing ng word. Papel mo naman ng sabi niya. Papel mo naman ng photographs. Kaya sabi, parang to hear that from her, parang gave me a lot of confidence and encouragement for the next service. Parang, talaga, okay, sige. So again, we all men, don't we need a woman that admires us? Diba? Chance nyo na yun, mga lalaki, mga men. Diba? Parang, you know, and I hope, you know, and again, we're not trying to fake this. We're just saying, you've got to find those things that admirable about your spouse. And I'm sure there are a lot of things that you can admire them for. It's just a matter of choosing and focusing on those rather than focusing on the things that probably disappointed you or probably parang falling short yung asawa nyo. And it helps a lot to be admired, to know that I have a wife. And you know, I know when my wife looks at me, like, nakatingin siya sa akin, no? I know when she looks at me with admiration, and I know when she looks at me with disdain. Okay? And I'm thankful that 99.9% of the time, she looks at me with admiration. And that helps me. Alam mo yung parang, and so, ladies, pakitingnan niyo naman yung asawa niyo na talagang parang nag-admire ka. At parang hindi nyo natagin na, kami, mamaya na. Marami pa to. Okay, but anyway, admiration. That's so important. Now, let's move on. So we're talking about the, you know, heart is all that matters. That's what's in the heart of a man. And it's important that ladies, you know what's in the heart of the man. Now, let's look at the heart of a woman, of the wife. Ano naman yung nasa wife? First, there is a need for companionship. Okay, and if you hit that, and if you nurture that, and if you take care of that part, then you're hitting the heart. Kasi companionship is so important for women. Women are highly relational beings. All right, they're highly relational beings, and their sense of worth and identity as a person has a lot to do with their relationships. Pagka sira yung relationship, sila din affected sila. That's why men, it's so important that we take care of our relationship with them, or even our children with their mom. And that we need to take care of that. We need to take care and protect their respect and our trust. You know, there is if you do a survey, make a survey of all who buys romance books and who watches telenovelas. Okay? Telenovelas pa rin matawag niyan. Teleserye. Okay. Soap opera. Okay. Millennial na. Okay. And the novels and the romance books. The biggest patrons, are women. Why? Kasi wala na sa bahay sila. Hindi In fact, minsan nire-record pa nila para papanoorin pa nila. Why? Because in a telenovela or a novel, there's always something new. It doesn't end. You know, have you watched telenovelas, men? Ako, it drives me crazy to watch telenovela. Why? Because it doesn't end. You know, parang gusto ko yung umpisa, tapos na agad, one episode lang, tapos na. Another, let's move on. But for women, they like that because there's always something new that unfolds in every episode. There's something new about the characters that's being revealed. Laging may twist. And you know what, men? Our wives married us because they're looking for a lifetime of adventure and companionship. Unfortunately, unfortunately for us men, sometimes we, para tayong goal-oriented masyado. We plan our weddings, and parang took us months, talagang every detail, inayos natin, everything. Then after the wedding day, in our minds, men, parang, okay, I can check that out of the one, check the box, and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Maybe career, or it's like going up to the top of the mountain, and once you've reached the top of the mountain, which is your wedding day, now for the men, they want to move on to the next mountaintop, that could be career, that could be motorcycles, that could be golf, could be something else. But our wives are looking for a lifetime of companionship. On their wedding day, they're looking at this as, wow, finally, I'm gonna walk with this person for the rest of my life. And I'm excited to get to know this person more. As I live with this person, as I live with my husband, more things, I'm gonna discover more things about him. Unfortunately, for us men, sometimes we forget that that's an important need, companionship. Your wife, you've got to take time. Men, we've got to take time to be with your wife. I cannot say that enough. And I appreciate you guys. I mean, thumbs up for being here tonight. But you've got to take time to be with your wife. Why? It communicates to your wife when you're with her, when you spend time with her, that she is worth spending time with. That, for us, parang, okay, sige, labas tayo, okay lang. But you know what? For a woman, to spend time with them, because they're highly relational being, for them, if you spend time with them, you're giving them the biggest compliment that you could ever give. And that is, hon, you are worth spending time with. Again, hindi na sarili. Okay, uwi na tayo. And so when you spend time with your spouse, please remove, stop the calls, remove your cell phone, take away your cell phone, be with your wife, be there. Okay? Sorry, nag-preach na ako. But your wife expects to have your presence, your interest, your availability, and your attention. And your wife wants to know that you're there. You're not just physically there, but you are emotionally with her at that moment. Sometimes just someone to listen to her without even sometimes giving solutions. And I know, men, we are notorious in giving solutions. We want to fix things. But our wives, they just want to walk with us, even if sometimes sometimes they just need a shoulder to cry on without any solutions at all. So, unfortunately, again, after the wedding day, there's a Valentine card that says this: if you love something, set it free. If it returns to you, you haven't lost it. If it disappears and never comes back, then it wasn't truly yours to begin with. Next page. And if it just sits there watching TV, unaware that it's been set free, then you probably married it. So, guys, our wives, that's a core, the heart of the matter to our spouse, to our wives, is they want companionship. Be there with them. You know, there's and another part to that is you've got to romance your wife. You know, the history of the word romance, may history din naman ako. Pakitahan lang ito ng konti. You know, during the Roman times, they had two languages. One is the lingua franca, which is the common language that was spoken all across the Roman Empire. It's used everywhere, it's ordinary, and it's formal. But also there is another language that was spoken. And this is what they call the Romanic language. And this language was used by poets, by artists, and it's more vulgar. It's more parang with passion, that language. And you know that the Romanic language, that's where you got the term romantic. That means you've got to romance your wife. That means you need to think of things that are not ordinary. What does that mean? You need to take out the trash and not let her take out the trash. You have to take care of the kids every now and then and say, sige, looks like you haven't even rested yet. Sige, matulog ka na lang muna, ako na bahala sa mga bata. Gumising ka na lang bukas, ako na bahala. Papakainin ko na rin sila. You know, sometimes we say, I'm not really a romantic person. But it's not a matter of personality. It's a matter of priority. Being romantic, if your wife is important to you, then you will think of ways to romance her. And to romance her it's good that you do this. But you know what? What really matters to her, to women a lot, are the small things that we do for them. And sometimes we wait for the big waves para tayong mga surfers. We wait for the big waves. Ito, anniversary namin. Bibigyan ko siya ng diamond ring. Tapos, pag-vacation kami, in an exotic island somewhere. Somewhere in the 100 Islands. But you know what? Sometimes our wives are just looking for the small things. Understanding. Small diamonds. Wala tuloy ako. But anyway, so companionship is very important. She signed up for this marriage, thinking that I'm in for an adventure, and make your marriage an adventure. All right? So good.
You know what, guys? There's even a book. The title is "Good Sex Starts in the Kitchen." It doesn't mean you do it. But okay, let me just say this, okay? Parang yung sinabi ko yung sex, parang napano yung iba. No, this is the place where we talk about sex, okay? Christians know that marriage is from God, and this is where we talk about sex. So anyway, the book "Good Sex Starts in the Kitchen" means that men, if you want your wives attentive to you in the bedroom at night, you have to be attentive to them during the day. And where is she during the day? She's in the kitchen. She's with the kids. So sabi nga, di ba, women are like slow cookers, men are like pressure cookers. So if you want your hot meal at night, you have to switch her on in the morning.
I-plug nyo na kagad pag guys. Pa-plug na muna.
Companionship lang yun. Ibig sabihin, papansin niyo sila. Hindi yung mapapansin nyo lang sila pag gabi na they want something. So anyway, so that's the women. The second is, what's the second thing? The second heart concern of our husbands? It's support. Proverbs 3:10-12 says, "A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rupees. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. As wives, our part is to encourage our husbands, to inspire him, to cheer him, and to back him. But there are 3 areas in his life that we should support him. First is in his work. Diba, like what I said earlier, there are 2 mirrors. Importante sa kanila yung work nila eh. That's one of the things that defines them. So we have to care about what they do. Some women just know how much their husbands bring. Diba? Magkano yung sweldo. Minsan pag tinanong mo, ano ba ginagawa? And I've experienced that years and years ago. There was this woman. Alam niya how much her husband earns and alam niya where her husband goes to work, of course. Sabi ko, what does your husband do na ba? Hindi niya matandaan what specifically her husband does. So, dapat naman, we know what they do. Do you support and encourage your husband in his work? Do you support and stabilize and energize him? The opposite is the same. Without support and encouragement, he will lose enthusiasm and confidence. Daniel Levinson, he has a book called Seasons of a Man's Life. Sabi niya sa book niya, men choose women to marry who they think will nourish their life's vision and help them fulfill their identity in life work. So women, we should support them in their work, but let me put a caveat here. We are not to endorse our husband's workaholism. Kung work naman sila ng work na wala ng time, then we have to naman nudge them a bit. But again, let's make sure that we support them in their work. The second is support them in public. Proverbs 12:4 says, a wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a disgraceful wife is like decay in his bones. So what does that mean? Decay in his bones, nasa loob, the decay starts from within. And how do we not support our husband in public? Nakakita na kayo ng women na when, for example, there's a group talking and the wives are there. And sometimes when it's the husband talking, sometimes just with a facial expression, we wives can cut our husbands. Well, kasi tayo asawa mo, ikaw. Diba? Parang, talaga? Diba? Minsan kinakat natin in public yung asawa natin. Or sometimes we challenge him or ridicule him publicly. Or sometimes, diba, magkukwento sila ng dreams nila sa atin. I remember there was a time my husband was telling me, Han, alam mo, one day, I hope to own a boat. Parang sa boat, Han, wala pa nga tayong bahay. Pili ka muna ng bahay natin. Diba, parang, diba sometimes our husbands,
yun yung bahay natin.
Sometimes, since we are the closest persons to our husbands, they tell us their dreams. Pero tayong women, since we're more into details, parang paano mangyayari yun? Di ba? Alam niyo, wives, huwag kayong mag-worry. Minsan nag-dream lang sila. Di ba? Minsan kakapasok lang nila, kakastart lang nila ng business, no? Tapos sasabihin na naman nila, I want to start another business. Parang di ba natin alam nyo, minsan, tinitreat natin yung husbands, yung dreams ng husbands natin na parang ibis. Diba? Parang pag pinakita kang ibis, hay! Napatay mo agad, diba? Hindi naman ibis yung dreams ng husbands. Pabayaan muna natin mabuhay. Pabayaan natin silang mangarap. Hindi naman nila gagawin yun.
Kung pangarap, parang ibis lang.
Hindi naman nila gagawin yung tomorrow eh. When they say, unless talaga gagawin nila, diba? Magpa-counsel lang kayo ng pastor mo. Pero, minsan nag-dream lang sila ng dream. For example, gusto ko tulad to, naisip ko lang, gusto ko bumili ng boat. Siguro minsan sa kanya nila, talaga po? Ano klase? Diba? Sa kanya.
40 foot na rin.
Diba?
Inter-island lang.
Paano kaya natin bibili yun? Diba? Sa kanya na lang. Support him. I need that. Hindi ba lang pagawa yan? So, support him at work. Support him.
Yes pa na lang.
So, support him in public and support him in his dreams. Support him through the seasons of life. You know what, wives? sometimes we become too self-absorbed, especially when we have small kids. We forget that our husbands go through different seasons also. When they're in their 20s, they're trying to figure
So
out...
yung 20s pa rin, no? Okay, nasa 20s pa lang. Kasi sinungaling na. Walang sinungaling na nagka-20 pa. Pero anyway, pag yung nasa 20s pa lang yung ano. Okay, sige, sige.
So when they're in their 20s, they're trying to figure out what they'll do with their life. So ito yung age na nagsa-start pa lang sila ng career nila, they're trying to establish themselves. Saka since they're young, and sometimes new pa lang sa career nila, they have a lot of self-doubt. So ito yung season. If you have a husband who's in this season, you have to continue to believe in him and be vocal about him. Give him room to grow and even fail. Grow together. You know what? When we trust our husbands, ultimately we're saying, Lord, I trust you in my husband. And the opposite is also true. If you don't trust your husband, that means you don't trust that he can use your husband. So now, when your husband is in their 30s, that's the time that they're more ready to take significant risks. So they're more confident, but this time, they want to feel a sense of success in the major areas of their life. So if your husbands are in this season, ito naman yung tayo naman yung time na we want more security, diba? Tapos we want naman more, kasi ito yung time na mas gusto ng mga lalaki nagde-take ng risk. Tayo naman natin, mas gusto natin siguradong paycheck. Diba na malaki mga bata, nagsuschool, diba? But how do we support them in that season? Understand him and speak life to him. And then ultimately trust God. Kasi sometimes women, we're more quick to speak and affirm our fears. Diba? Pag sinabi ng husband natin, maganda na itong bago na, stay mo na, I feel I want to start out on my own. Biglang, hindi pwede, hindi mo kaya. Paano yung anak natin nag-aaral pa nga? Instead na, you know what, huh? I know if you're saying that, you probably have prayed about it. Or if not, sabihin nyo, let's pray about it. And if that's what God wants you to do, then I'll be with you. I'm sure God will provide for us. So you're saying, you're trusting God through Him. But if you will voice out your fear right away, you're saying, Lord, hindi pwede, Lord. Hindi mo kaya gamitin ito. Kailangan namin yung security. So, if your husband naman is in the 40s, that's the middle age crisis na. So, they're starting to wonder whether their life counts for anything. Tapos,
40s or 50s.
Oo, 40s or 50s yan. Oo, 40s or 50s. Tapos, this is the time, sometimes they will feel time is running out. I have still a lot that I want to do, and yet I feel I'm getting older. And sometimes they think, what's next? So if this is the season that your husband is in, be sensitive. Give perspective on his accomplishments and on what he's done. Diba? Sometimes your husband forgets, I think, you know what? If he's in his mid-50s and you have grown up, you know what, hon? We should be thankful because God blessed you. We were able to send our children to school. Kita mo nga, siguro dalawa na tapos ng college or whatever. Just speak life. Speak of things that are not as though they were. And just assure him of his accomplishments. Now, if your husband is in the 60s, so this is the retirement age na, so this is the time that they're giving up the center stage already. So now is the time also that they learn to live with previous decisions. Ito na, in their 60s, they're seeing na the effects of their decisions when they were younger. Ito na yung age din na regrets will come. And they will think, wow, sana ginawa ko yun noon. Kung binili ko yun yung property na yun nung dati, sana malaki bahay natin. Yung mga ganon. At saka this is also the age that they will start to think, what value do I have now? I'm not working anymore. I'm not contributing anymore. Now, this is the season that you help him discover new purpose and new direction. And because you're his wife, you're the wife that he has come to trust, he will believe you. And also, because you did him good and not evil all the days of his life, he will take what you tell him. So I want to encourage you women, support our husbands in their work, support them in public, support their dreams, and support them in the seasons of life.
All right. Okay. Now going back to the wives. First one, they need companionship. The second thing that, again, in the heart of our wives, they need security. All right? What does that mean? Our wives need to know that you can and you will provide for her. She needs to know and she needs to feel confident that she has a man looking out for her. Now, she's not looking for, we used to sing this, I used to sing this to my wife. We may not have a mansion on a hill, big coats and diamonds, bicycles, but the things we have, no man could ever take. Just the two of us, and we can ask for more. And you know what? Our wives are not asking for a mansion on a hill. They just need to know what brings security to them is they know that they have a man who's willing to slug it out, willing to make sacrifices, willing to swallow his ego, and willing to do anything and everything that he needs to do to provide for his family. She's not looking for a big bank account. She's not looking for a security that will be passed on to the next generation. She's just looking, what brings security to her is meron siyang asawa who will go out and do something about life and stop complaining. 1 Timothy 5:8 says that, but if anyone does not provide for his relatives and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. And I think, man, we should be in the forefront of this as Christian men. And we can provide and we can establish a very secure home and help our wives become secure by making sure that we're doing everything we can do to make both ends meet. And it's not a luxurious life that they're looking for. They just need somebody, a man, who's going to look out for them. So, question is, can your wife trust you with money? With integrity? Do you have integrity? Do you have self-control? Or do you practice delayed gratification? Or you just went out to the mall and then you came home with a 5,000 peso pair of shoes without telling your spouse? Ibig sasabihin niya sa ako. Ano gusto mo sabihin? Qualify. Ay, okay. Hindi, yung pinag-uusapan. Sabihin ko, mahal, bili naman ako ng sapatos. Okay. Magkano? Hindi yung parang pag-uwi mo, sabi nga nila, mag-repent ka na lang pagkatapos. Mag-forgive ka naman ng asawa ko. Parang, bumili nga pala ako ng bagong vest. Napadaan lang ako sa tindahan. Okay, so then, kailangan lang, alam natin, we practice delayed gratification. That we're the ones who should show sacrifice first. Kaya, di na muna ako bibili yan para mabili natin yung bago mong sapatos. Tsaka yung bag sa Louis Vuitton. Sa Grievance. Okay. So not necessarily financial, but also support, understanding, and commitment. And here's another thing that brings security to a wife. During fights and arguments, and I'm sure you had one or more, remind your wife that you are not against each other in the middle of that fight. And say, Han, you know what? Hold up. And then, hold up. Hold on. Hindi tayo magkaaway. We're in this together. We're gonna make it work. And you know what brings security to our wife? Is when you say, you know what, hon, we might not be able to resolve this tonight. But let me just assure you that we will do everything to find a resolution to our problem. Even if it means to humble myself and ask for counsel and ask help from other couples who can help us in our problem. It brings a lot of security. Rather than fighting it and saying, what brings security to them is saying, hon, there's no back door to this marriage. There's no fire exit to this marriage. There's no glass that says, in case of fire, break this glass. There's no way out of this marriage. We're gonna make this thing work. And we're gonna pray, we're gonna believe God if you need to fast, and that brings a lot of security to your wife. Alright, men? Okay, parang tayo bigla tayo. Alright. Well, konti na lang. 20 na ka, 20, ano na ba tayo? Okay, 23 na lang.
Okay, the third heart concern of the husbands, again, also, is companionship. Wives, be a companion to our husbands. Especially over time, whether you like it or not, because of life's seasons, life situations, separateness will creep in. And if we are not careful, we will start to drift apart and we will start building separate lives together. Especially if you have different careers, easier pa nga sana if the wife stays at home. Diba? Pagdating sa bahay, pareho kayo ng concern. But if you both work or the wife has a business and the husband goes to work, it's so easy to drift apart. So tayong husband, tayong wives, since we are the more relational one, we should be the one, we are the ones who feel this person. Diba tayo yung nakakapil na, hindi na tayo nag-usap. Kasi sabihin ng husband natin, usap na tayo nila, diba? Tinanong ko sa'yo kung magbabayad ka na ng kuryente. Diba? Ganun sa kanila, usap na yun eh. Diba? Sa atin, we know what we really mean when we say, we don't talk na anymore. Diba? So, but we should be the one to fight for that. Kasi we are the one who feel it before they do. So, it's a matter of carving out time to spend in each other's company. Carve out time. So I would like to say, and I'm sure you've heard it before, na talagang have a date night. Set it aside. You know what? When our kids were growing up, we didn't have enough budget sometimes, or most of the time. So what we will do, our kids, they would have a bedtime, and after they're asleep, downstairs, we'll just have coffee, and we know that it's our time together. So yung things that sometimes, kasi when you have small kids, all you talk about are so mundane. Diba? Parang, si Junior, pinagalitan na naman ng teacher. Diba? Makagaling na lang usapan natin minsan, diba? Or si may project, ikaw naman ang tulungan mo naman sometimes. And then, pag higalit, tulog na kayo. Diba? But at least if you know that there's a time that you would spend, that you can talk and connect heart to heart, it's good. But sometimes, alone time is not always practical. You know what I remember growing up? I have 8 kami magkakapatid, so I have 7 siblings. And siguro because also of the budget of my parents, I don't see them go out on a trip. But you know what? I would remember, because our house was syempre that the walls are not that thick, every morning I would wake up, I would hear them talking. I would hear them talking and I would hear them. Minsan, they're laughing together. Minsan, alam mo, serious pinag-usapan nila kasi humihina yung boses nila. Hindi ko na maintindihan yung sinasabi nila.
Nag-uusap talaga yung parents mo.
Nag-uusap lang sila po. Umaga. So it's important that if alone time is not possible, be creative, carve out time. There's a saying that says, friends don't only enjoy each other's company, they make an effort to do so. So don't only enjoy, but make an effort to spend time with each other. I've also read about a couple, since they have small kids, and the husband likes to read. So what they do, so this is interesting, so what they do while the wife is finishing the chores in the evening, the husband's reading his novel aloud to the wife. So they're together. It's like they're reading the novel together. So you can be creative in spending time. Money doesn't have to be an issue. It's the attitude. It's the heart. Do you want to be with your husbands then? You have to be his companion and then share his interest. Diba? Ang problem natin, wife, sometimes we lose sight of the importance of being his companion because of the occupation of running the household and raising the children. But it's important that we get involved in what they like. I remember, I didn't grow up liking sports, but my husband likes sports a lot. So, and he likes to watch basketball games. So, pag nanonood siya, ako wala akong interest. So, you know what I would do? I would ask, oh, who's that guy? O, so sabihin niya, si Ate yan, who's the, sa Golden State?
Si Stephen Curry.
Si Steph Curry. So, gagawin ko, mag-research ako. Pag interesado ako, kasi, ay, dalawa pala yan, ito pala. So, pag nanonood ka ng basketball, that's the guy who has 2 kids. Ay, oh, galing niya pala mag-shoot. No? So, nagiging personal, kasi tayo relational, di ba? So, pag papanoorin ko lang sila mag-basketball, I'm not interested. So, gusto ko malaman yung background, di ba? And sometimes when he watches football, I see, who was the one who won? Si Tom Brady, di ba? Model pala yung kasama niya. So, I would find out how I can be interested in what's interesting for him. So, it's a hard attitude. I want to be interested in what's interesting for him. And also, sharing his dreams. A man needs constant reassurance that he's in the right place. Be a trusted soulmate. That's very important. Always reassuring, like what I said in my seasons of life. Sometimes they get lost. Wives, just let your husband just talk about his plans. Don't carry it away and don't be confused. Be patient. Give your ear. Don't panic. You know, sabi ko kanina, when they dream, they just want to share it with you. Just be thankful na sinishare nila sa inyo. Di ba? Parang that they still want to talk to you about their dreams. Don't panic. Ask them questions to clarify the real issues. Sometimes they'll just come home and say, ayoko na magtrabaho. Mag-resign na ako. Biglang ikaw naman, huwag ka mag-react. Cool ka lang. Really, honey, what happened today? Diba? Just ask. Just ask. And know, because kahit tayo yung closest sa kanila. So, that's our place in their lives.
Alright. Next, for the husbands, to your wives, they need significance. That's another matter that's in their heart. Okay? Again, we said that they're very relational, they're nurture and friend. And most of your wife's most important contribution in your marriage is hidden from the view. Hindi niya nakikita kasi relationship yung dinadala niya. Yung strength na dinadala niya sa relationship, sa marriage. So, and sometimes we overlook that. They cannot be quantified nor measured or not be paid. So who's the best person to honor your wife? That's you. And who will praise your wife but you? You should be the first one who should be doing that. You know, there was a poll that was made in 1970, okay, long time ago. 2/3 of the women that was interviewed or surveyed agree that most men are basically kind, gentle, and thoughtful. 20 years later, only 42% of the women agree that men are basically selfish and self-centered. Nagbago, nag-shift. And 53% says that most men are interested in their own work and life outside the home and don't pay much attention to things going on at home. Men, our wives need to know that what is important to them is important to you too. You need to feel significant, that what they're doing is significant and important, even if you don't quantify it or you cannot quantify. So does your wife know that her life counts? Do you constantly tell your wife, "Hon, I'm so thankful that I married you. I could not imagine my life not having you as my wife." And just assure them, "Hon, thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for what you bring. Thank you for your sensitivity. Thank you for always telling me what's going on in the lives of our children." Let your wife know that your plans Okay, agreement in decisions. That brings that shows that they're significant. If you agree, if you value their contribution and you appreciate and affirm your wife every day. Okay, and they said that silent treatment is tantamount to emotional abuse. And I think when we do that to our spouse, they don't feel significant. Our wives feel that they're neglected, and a lot of women are not physically abused, but they're emotionally abused because they don't matter. They feel that their lives don't matter to their spouse. All right, and then the last one.
Okay,
We only
the
have
last
3 for
one.
the women, and because men are needy, so we have 4.
Men are needy, and their last need is physical responsiveness.
Good.
So, but when I talk about physical responsiveness, it's not just sex. But I'm gonna talk about sex also. Physical, it's about spontaneous hugs and kisses. They reassure a man. And I realize, come to think of it, most of us women enjoy sex less because we think our husbands only like the physical part. But you know, studies have been made that sex is an expression of the deeper connection. And this is what men feel sad. That it's for them, it's an expression of the deeper connection that God designed us to have with our husbands. It's an emotional, even spiritual, not just physical connection in marriage. You know what? When you think about it, when our husbands marry us, or when a man marries a wife, alam niya, di ba? Yung traditional na roles natin, we'll keep a house for them, we'll have kids, we'll raise our kids, and then of course, when they go home, di ba, they'll have something to eat, and their kids will have something to eat. When you think about it, all these things, for example, taking care of the house. When we don't want, diba, when we don't want to take care of our house, or when we're not able, diba, there are maids that we can get. Nowadays, there are people that you could just come, that can come for a day to clean your house for you. So, okay lang yan, diba? When you don't want to cook, diba, what do? Sometimes you can just order out. You can just, deliver ka, diba? When you sometimes feel like, pagod na ako, pwede ba hindi ko muna alagaan yung si Junior. Sometimes you can even ask a relative or you can get somebody to pay. You can take care of the kids, diba? Or a babysitter. But, yung isang need ng asawa natin, when they want physical connection, hindi naman pwedeng gagawin niya, call a friend. Diba hindi? That's the only need that they have, that only us can need. So that's why it's very important that parang yung mga women, parang malungkot kayo. Diba? This area of a man's life, no one can and should meet except us. With no one, even society, no matter what they say now, they frown. If a man is married, of course, you know. But if a man is married and this need is, he looks for other people to meet this need. Kasi this is rightfully and biblically, and the way God designed it, this need is only met in marriage. So, yung ibang needs niya, need for a house and all, it can be met. So, there are 2 questions that a man asks himself, di ba? Parang, do I meet my wife's need? Do I give her pleasure? So, it's up to us to be able to answer that because it assures him of his manhood. And it's up to us to fulfill that need because it's a real need that man has. So those are his 4 needs: admiration, support, companionship, and physical responsiveness.
So, okay, just to end, I think, we should be wondering, saan nga ba yung target? I think that if we focus on those 3 things for the husbands to focus about their wives, and then those 4 things that wives should focus about their husband, then we'll be able to hit the heart. And there are other needs, but if we do good on those things, the rest will follow. And those are important things that we need to be mindful of. Alright? Alright. How do we like this?
Yes,
all right. So, okay. Stand on your feet. You've been sitting. We're going to sit down again, but I just want to pray for you. And you know what? You might be here and you're saying, oh, you know what? I didn't know that, or, you know, maybe I need to work on this. Maybe when